Now, Central Oregon's local alert weather with Eric Oren.
Well, a happy Friday to all of you. We made it to the end of the week. It's no small feat, but let's start with a look at current temperatures in the area. A little cooler than yesterday around this time, but we should be just about the same temperature-wise. We're topping out somewhere in the 40s, but here we are looking at 20-degree temperatures all the way up to the 30s, a little bit to the north of us. But generally speaking, we're going to have a pretty average day here on the high desert. Now let's take a look at your workday forecast. High in Bend is 48 degrees. Wind out of the south, also the southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour is a pretty realistic range to expect throughout the day, and it's probably going to die down a little after midnight to slightly less than that. And by the time you're headed into work today, should be around 31 degrees. By lunchtime, around 46. And sometime between then and when you're heading home, the sun will be setting around 4:26 p.m. And temperature-wise, you'll end up at around 40 degrees by the time you are making your way back home. Let's take a look here at some weather headlines so you can stay prepared for your day. Stagnant air continues to be a problem across the state, and here locally as well. We're seeing some less than ideal air quality due to a lack of wind, a little high pressure overhead capping off those pollutants in the ozone. Also, clear and dry day today. We do expect only our next round of precipitation by early next week. Until then, though, a pretty calm and clear pattern in the forecast throughout this coming weekend. So do get out there and enjoy it. Now here's a look at your satellite and radar in the Pacific Northwest. You can see a little pressure ridge keeping us relatively calm, except for some cloud cover. We're really not expecting to see any moisture coming our way. And with this high pressure, we're also seeing a lack of wind and moving air. So here's a look at the winds at their most active point in the morning. You can see here around 11 o'clock. 10-mile-an-hour winds in Redmond and Prineville, but generally speaking, the 5 to 10-mile-an-hour range out of the south is pretty much what we're going to see throughout the day. As we get into the early morning hours, you can see things dying down and getting a little calmer, with the exception of Bend there. Everyone's pretty close to that 5-mile-an-hour range, so not going to expect a whole lot of wind. And with that air stagnation we spoke about, we do see this advisory in place and going into the weekend. Now, it's affecting much of the state here, as you can see highlighted in gray, and that's due to stagnant air creating less than ideal air quality. And here locally, our air quality is a little less than ideal. As you can see here, we're looking at moderate ranges throughout Sun River at slightly unhealthy for those who are sensitive to air pollutants. And then, of course, a little bit better in Sisters. But we do expect a little bit of improvement late this weekend when the weather pattern changes. But until then, we are expecting some stagnant air issues. Additionally, with that, we're also seeing a bit of fog lingering in the area as we continue to make our way through the forecast. There's a look at the dense fog advisory in place along the I-5 corridor. If this area is where you live or through which you commute, this is an area that's seeing quite a bit of fog and limited visibility, which is, of course, causing hazardous driving conditions. A little shout out to Scott Waite for a great viewer photo of the day. We certainly love when you send in these lovely photos of sunrise. Keep them coming, because we do love to see these local area views. Now here's a look at your highs for the day. We're pretty similar temperature range-wise to what we saw yesterday, in the 40s throughout the area. Now let's take a look at your 7-day forecast, give you an idea what's headed your way. Smiley's pretty thrilled. It is a Friday after all. We do see some dry conditions through the weekend, and then of course a chance for a little bit of precipitation early next week. We also see those overnight lows getting just a little bit warmer by that point before things recover by the later point of next week to slightly more seasonable ranges. That's been a look at your local alert weather.